Qualitanesi, buen dia, good morning. All three of those languages are, one of them is mine. And the first one, the Nahuatl, that's my language. And then I use the English language now that I'm in this, among you guys. And the Spanish language was the one that my mother spoke. And art has been the language that I've tried to create, to communicate to everyone else. And I spent several years here in Houston painting, creating relationships with property owners, with friends, with anyone that had access to public space to create what people call murals. To me, it was an extension of graffiti. It still is graffiti, comes from there. But it has a different approach now. It has a connection to those that I work with. It's no longer just an action that I did to, because I dislike the system, you know. So it's still graffiti to me, but in a legal form. By definition, it wouldn't add up, you know. But today I'm here to talk to you about water. Something that through art, I began to understand what's out there that help us grow as humans. From doing graffiti, you know, you kind of always feel like everything's against you. And when I started painting legally, when I started building connections with people, I really wanted to show people some of my culture, some of where I come from, no longer aggressively, in easier to digest form, you know. So I started to learn how to paint, you know, asking people, can I paint your wall? Can I paint your wall? Can I paint your wall? And 1 out of 10, maybe they'll say yes. Because I didn't have a sketch, had no idea what I was going to paint. But I also told them, well, I like to write quotes what I paint. You know, I like to write messages for people. And then sometimes that'll kind of, you got to find a sales pitch, I guess, you know, so you also learn how to do that. And by starting to create these shapes and forms that to me I was influenced, you know, by my culture, by the art that was left by those Mexica people that people call Aztecs, you know, by my connection to who I am, not by definition. Again, you know, the way that we use this dictionary just never adds up for me. So that's why I use art. So somehow I met a friend, and he was like, so you're influenced by your Mexican heritage? I said, yeah, I'm influenced by it. He said, no, you're not. That's who you are. And if you don't understand that, why are you painting that? If that's not who you are, why are you painting those things? Do you know what they mean? I said, yes, I do. I know you don't. You have to learn how to connect to those things. You have to know how to speak to them. You have to know how they relate to you in a more deeper level. And he left. Don't know who he is. Never talked to him again. I said, all right, so what is this? You know, what are these symbols? What are these line work? You know, what am I doing? And so I reached out to, you know, as soon as I had, you know, somehow the universe, I guess the way people talk about it, you know, brings other people. And after a while, I started to connect some Native American friends, some other Mexica or Mexican friends that were, you know, following traditions and really connecting through ceremonies. And then somehow I learned about water. You know, I asked, why do you guys use water like that? You know, why do you guys talk to it? I said, well, you ask it. You talk to it. So I don't know how. So exactly. No one's going to teach you how. So I guess that's kind of why I'm here today, you know, to talk to you guys a little bit of how I've learned to not only respect but or reconnect, but truly and honestly talk to it. And I guess if we're talking about art, that is the first artist. That is the first form of creativity that allow us to be here today. And so it has also helped me understand art in a whole different understanding, because I thought it was a language at one point. And then I thought it was a form of maybe income, And then I thought of it as a form of, lifestyle. But then I began to understand that it's life itself, just like that water, just the way that millions of years to create life as we know it. So I brought with me some staffs that we run with every 4 years. These staffs there's a group that runs from Alaska all the way down to Panama, and then another one way end of Argentina, all the way down to Panama. And they, every 4 years, they carry messages from different communities, not only Native communities, but just communities of people that are aware that we need to learn how to communicate. We need to learn how to pass these messages. And this tradition of staffs running through the continent has always been here, even spiritually, before humans were here. Just like this water has a spirit before humans were here. So I had an opportunity to run with the staffs through Jamaica. Last week I was there, and this talk was supposed to happen last week, but I'm grateful they pushed to today. But what we were doing with them, we were going around different rivers, so running. So in the morning we pick them up, we run, and then we get to a river and we leave offerings to that river. We bless the staffs with the river, and we talk to the river. And it's a way for us to begin the process of telling this river that we still want to live, that we still want to be here, that we want our kids, our elderly, and ourselves to have life. And I guess going back to art, I don't know if it's art that helped me understand that that's possible. I don't know that. I think life made it possible for me to have this connection, or this, I guess, the way kids look at it sometimes, the way that they dream, they see things differently. So I do that every morning, wake up, that cup of water, put it in front of me, talk to it, help me out. Before there was any medicine around, that was our medicine. That was what people took to heal themselves. That was what people had to remind them who we are. So it's been difficult, to learn these things. It's been culturally we don't have enough, and sometimes we think that we have enough, and sometimes we tend to think that we can help other people, and we create things, and we don't build enough confidence. A lot of us walk around without any confidence in ourselves. And I learned that from being, I guess people call them immigrants, people have all kinds of labels for people that look like me. And how do people that look like me build confidence? It's difficult. It's a difficult place to be, to learn how to move around the systems, that we've created. And I think that's what's important to have art. Sometimes it's a safe place for people to come and learn how to communicate so that they can tell us what's going on. But then there's also this this lack of understanding, going again, before I came here, I was like, okay, so these guys, the majority of them probably only have the definition of water by the dictionary. And how do you get people to disattach from that? How do I tell you what you're reading is false? And I believe it, but how do I communicate that with you so that it kind of helps you understand that everything that's written there is false? It's not colorless, it's not odorless, and it has more than just two elements combined. And art helps you teach that somehow, because maybe we're not presenting ourselves as scientists or experts, which scientists and experts, all they have is an equation, but that's not the rule. It's just another form, another something else that helps us access something that we don't know. That equation is not the end result. So you have to question that equation every day. And I do that, from the way that I speak, from the way that I walk, from what I do. I question every single thing that I do. That's what has been built confidence for me to come here and learn how to move around these things, move, get closer to knowing that we don't know anything and be really comfortable with it, be at peace with it, be happy with it. Looking outside right now, just how the water is hitting this bayou. Not many people look at it. You could go and touch it. You could talk to it. Sorry, we don't know how to treat this bayou. It's what we have. We trust people, We trust them a lot. And a lot of us, we don't get in front of them and teach them. We trust this filtering system that we have in Houston, We trust them to put chemicals in it. We trust them to not even release everything that's happening with it. We trust them. I don't. Sometimes I go all the way to San Antonio to get spring water. At least I get a little bit of closer to the essence of it. A little closer. I'm never going to get in it because most of my body is made from this water. Every time I shower, it goes through me, and I feel it. When I drink it, I feel it. So sometimes I go and get a little bit of this water that still has essence, that is not afraid of us. This water is afraid of us. And it's difficult to help all of us, find a way to understand that. Because like I was saying earlier, some of the systems that we have labels that we don't agree with. You look for spirituality, and some of these labels, we just don't agree with them. We look for political systems to help us, and the definition, we don't agree with it. So we get caught up. That's why I just don't trust language, the way that we have it. This language is not from this continent that we speak. So it doesn't know how to talk to these waters. And then the languages that existed here that knew how to talk to these waters, very few people have. That's why I brought these staffs to 5, to let you guys know that it's creativity that can help us. Just like the water, the first creation, the first artist, it's what's going to help us to get creative, to learn our language individually, to learn your environment, and to create your own language, and to really and truly and honestly learn how to talk to these elements with your heart. That's one thing that can help us. Other than that, I think that we're not going to be able to sustain this water for very long. So, but it's a good thing that, at least people are beginning to talk about it. A lot of people are starting to fight for it. A lot of people are starting to commercialize it. But when we look around and we ask ourselves, what can we do for this water when water has done everything for us? It's an individual responsibility to start to make that connection. So art for me has been the only way to get here. And it hasn't been easy. But I hope that at some point you guys become just like that water, because that is who we are. That is who we are, and that is who I would like us to be, to continue this existence and put it back in place, put it back in harmony. And the only way to do is every day. So thank you very much.